This video is sponsored by Squarespace. I thought instead of just ranking the F1 liveries from 2023, there's some other design elements that we haven't really properly looked at. You got the driver suits, the overalls that they wear that protect the drivers, and the helmets that do that job even more. So we've got 3 separate tier lists. I'm going to rank everything here, best to worst, in my opinion, but let me know what you think in the comments down below. We're going to start with the liveries. I've talked to my opinions about each one through my livery redesign videos, so check them out if you haven't already. I'm not going to spend too long on this. We're going to go in order of car launch, and we're going to start with the Haas. Now, because there isn't that excitement of it being the first car that we saw in 2023, I think I can look at this a little bit more objectively. I'm going to start with putting this in a B. Compared to what we're seeing from the rest of the field, I'm not convinced it's okay. The 2020 Haas was an absolute banger. For me, that is top tier Haas. This is, to me. Okay, Red Bull, it's iconic. It's the same every year. I get that, but it is iconic. I think I might reserve S tier for my absolute number one favourite. So I'm going to put it in A for now. Williams, okay, Williams. Now, Williams is one that's definitely grown on me. I'm putting this A for now because I think on the actual car, the images we've actually seen of it on track, not the renders and not the show car that I saw when I went to the Williams launch, I think the matte, and I'll be honest, the hits of red and the bright blue, even though I've criticised the use of the red in the past, I actually think it really works on this livery. It really accentuates the details, and it looks like a little Hot Wheels car, which is not a bad thing. This is a livery that fundamentally I disliked when it dropped at the start of last season, but they've made improvements, changes to it. The Duracell's very clever, of course. I think I've come round to it, so well done, Williams. Alfa Romeo. I mean, it is a corker, isn't it? I'm going to put it in A tier ahead of these two. I'll reserve S for the moment, but I do prefer it to the Red Bull. I do prefer it to the Williams. It's just simple and beautiful. The deep shade of red, just love it. Right, okay, AlphaTauri. Oh, look, listen, I think I'm more positive about this livery than a lot of people seem to be. I don't love the introduction of the red and the Flexbox orange on the X's. It's just a bit, why? I'm putting it B for now. There are some angles of this car I really like, so I can't put it in the bottom tier. But front on, it's gopping. It's shocking. McLaren. I definitely prefer it to the Haas, but I don't like it as much as I like the Williams. So I'm going to put it bottom of A tier now. Ooh, we've seen it on track now, and the car shape isn't the most pretty. Actually, no, I'm going to put it in top of B for now. Aston Martin. Okay, Aston, you're going straight into A tier. I will almost definitely move you ahead of the Williams, but we'll keep you there for now. I'm all for a simple livery. Simple is elegant, especially when you've got a lot of sponsors as well. I think keeping things simple can accentuate the sponsors you do have. But yeah, we'll keep that there for now. And then Ferrari, I'm also going to put in A tier. You know what, actually, I think I'm going to use S for more than one, actually. I'm going to drag Alfa Romeo up to S. I'm going to drag Aston Martin up to S. Yeah, this works. And then these 3 sit in A. They've just made the Ferrari a bit fiddly this year. I don't like the red on the front rear wing end plates either, and the carbon coming up on the Seva. It's a downgrade from last year for me, but it's still a very pretty car. So the Audax and Tommo live show is only a few days away now from the time of recording, and we sold out in like 24 hours, which is mad. Thank you all so much for the support, and thank you to Squarespace for hosting my website where I sold all the tickets. It was a breeze to get it all set up, manage stock levels. A few people needed refunds because they couldn't make it. Easy, chucks the stock back live. It's all drag and drop functionality, 24/7 customer support. And best thing of all, if you want to give it a go and build your very own online home, then it's completely free of charge to try it. It's only when you want to put that finished website live to the wood that you have to pay anything, and when that time inevitably comes, head to squarespace.com/TommoF1 for 10% off your very first website or domain. Mercedes, I'm putting in S tier. It just looks mean. It looks decent. They've embraced the black. It doesn't feel like it's been shoehorned in. They've just gone all in, and I like that. I appreciate that. And then finally, Alpine. Obviously, there's 2 liveries here. We're going to put both of them in. The blue and the pink. Ooh, do I prefer it to the McLaren? No. So I think we're going to put it here. I think I prefer it to the Haas. Yeah, but not as much as the McLaren for the blue and pink. It just feels like 2 separate liveries to me. It doesn't feel like a altogether piece of design as far as I'm concerned. But I get there's restrictions there, making that blue and pink work. Because with the all pink, and I think this proves that I don't fundamentally dislike the design, I'm actually going to put this I really like this. I think I'm going to put this top of A tier for me. I think this lives here. Yeah, that looks good to me. That looks good to me. Actually, yeah, you know what? I'm going to have to demote Haas and AlphaTauri down to C tier, I'm afraid, because there is a distinct jump for me from the McLaren and the Alpine to those two. You know what? I don't actually fundamentally dislike any of the liveries this year. Although I'll hold that, I'm actually going to put the Haas behind the AlphaTauri. I prefer the AlphaTauri to the Haas. Yeah, there we go. That sits right with me. Top three. Alfa Romeo, Aston Martin, Mercedes in that order. I'm pretty happy with the Alfa Romeo in top spot. I am. Mercedes, Aston Martin. No, I'm sticking Aston Martin P2, that beautiful green. And keeping Ferrari behind Williams is certainly going to be a controversial one, but it is a downgrade, and I actually really rate the look of that Williams. Okay, driver suits time now. So let's do it in the same order, starting with Haas. And I've got to say, this is a decent little number that Haas have come up with here. There's something very IndyCar about it, and the balance of the white to the black to the red for me is absolutely spot on. This is going straight in A tier. It might even be moving up higher. We'll see. But then we come on to Red Bull. I don't like it as much. I don't like the fiddly little red things around the Castor logo. It's lost a lot of its appeal to me. It's B, but you know what, actually I'm going to put it C for now. It might make its way up, but I was honestly not that impressed at all by the Red Bull overalls, so that's where it's living for now. Williams, I like these. I think I like a lot of these race suits, to be honest. Bottom end of A tier for now. I think the Golf logos are actually quite a nice introduction. I know you could argue that the orange kind of clashes with the red that you've got as the hint colour, but it's not prominent enough that it takes away from it. And Golf is such an iconic logo in F1. Wherever it is, it kind of works. But the overalls, the base overalls themselves, I think are sick. Do I prefer them to the Haas, actually? No, the Haas really stood out to me. The Haas overalls really stood out to me when I first saw them, so I'm going to keep Williams behind. Alfa Romeo, it's another banger. It's definitely A tier at a bare minimum. Simple black with a red stripe across the middle. The all black Alfa Romeo overalls for time have looked sick. Haas and Williams and Alfa Romeo are all very, very close to each other. AlphaTauri, you know what? B. I prefer them to the Red Bull overalls. Yes, they've chopped the Orlan in and they've got them on the sleeves, the red of the Orlan, which you could argue is a bit odd, but I think the overalls work better than the car livery for sure. Simple, well put together, quite smart. They're okay. McLaren, I really like the colour palette on the overalls, actually. I think they utilise the blue better on the overalls than they do on the car itself. I've got a question. I should have really asked this when I went to McLaren. Why is the base colour a dark grey instead of black? Because then you've got these awkward black boxes around the logos on the front. Having looked at the merchandise, they do kind of embrace a dark grey with the merchandise instead of a black. So I don't know if it's part of that. But then why have the blacked out logos on the overalls? Look, I really like them, but because of that little nitpick that I've got, I can't put them ahead of the Alfa and the Williams and the Haas. But they're still really nice. So they're going in A tier, but they're staying towards the lower end. Aston Martin. Now this colour works great on the car and it makes for a distinct set of overalls. But do I love them? Do they really shine to me? No. I prefer them to the AlphaTauri overalls, I guess, but that green really shines on the car. On the overalls, it's just okay. Ferrari time. So they've gone with black shoulders this year on the overalls. I don't love them. They're definitely B tier for me. Ahead of AlphaTauri and behind Aston Martin, probably. Yeah. And then for Mercedes, I probably feel the same. They're good. I would actually okay, maybe yeah. I think top of B tier for Mercedes. Red Bull can sit in C on its own because we've only got one left to go, Alpine, and that's definitely not going in. C tier, kind of similar to Aston Martin. There's not really design elements on there. It's just one colour and then logos, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Alfa Romeo, it takes just putting that red stripe down the middle to give it something, a bit of character that I like. because then we come to Alpine, and you know I'm a sucker for colour blocking. All blue on the shoulders. We've got then the pink in the midriff, and we've got the black base. For me, this is S tier. This is an S tier set of overalls. For me, this is my favourite set this year. Am I taking Haas up there as well? Oh, then Alfa Romeo. You know what? I'm going to move Haas up to S tier, and then I'm going to put Alfa Romeo ahead of Williams and McLaren there. I think I'm happy with that. Yeah, man, those Alpine overalls absolutely slap. I love them. They are beautiful. So they're my 2 or 3 tier lists so far. We haven't seen all the images of the helmets yet. I'm waiting for Haas to give us good high-res images of Nico and Kevin's lids. So I can't do that tier list yet. So we're going to have to come back to this tomorrow or later today if they release images. So, transition. Thank you, Haas. It's about time you posted some pictures of your drivers' helmets, for crying out loud. Oh, and before we get into it, shout out to F1 Helmets on Twitter. Was super helpful in collating all these images. Go check them out. Link in bio. We're going in reverse driver name alphabetical order because that's how the images came into Photoshop. Starting off with Z, Zhou Guanyu. Purple, once again inspired by the late Kobe Bryant. He's a big basketball fan. He's brought the purple back again this year. Oh, I really want to like it. I really like the yellow, but he's got orange on the back. There's some cool little elements, but I'm going to put it in B for now. But I do feel like this maybe could go down, if anything. Next, we have V, of course, for Max Verstappen. Gone with the white number this year. EA Sports on the front. No gold helmet from last year. I like it. I like the plain white base to it. It's got that air of simplicity. It's got some nice little details to it as well. I like the lion logo he represents on the top as well. It's a strong helmet. It's going in A for now. Then to T, Yuki Tsunoda, AlphaTauri. I mean, this number's going straight into S tier for me. It's an absolute worldie. I'm pretty sure he ran a helmet last year with the leaves on, but regardless, he's brought it back. The autumnal leaves. You might be forgiven for thinking Canadian maple leaf, but that's not only what it's associated to. And just like with Max's helmet, you've got that plain white base. And even though the AlphaTauri Red Bull logo branding on both helmets is big and prominent, I think stripping the helmet back and going with something so abstract really works for this type of helmet. Now we have Lance Stroll. All green. We won't be seeing Lance in testing, unfortunately. Get well soon, man. He came off his bike in Italy while training. I really enjoyed in previous years how Lance took the helmet and really blended it into the car. I like it when drivers go one of two ways. They either make it seamless or completely contrast. I will say though, just from what we've seen, we haven't had that many great images of his lid, but I don't love it quite as much as I have in recent years. I think just having the white Aston Martin wing on it, it's, I don't know. And you've got the green that fades to the blue around the edge. It's okay. It's better than Joe's, but I'm going to put it in B tier for now. Also, the JCB branding, I know they like to be in full colour. It is quite jarring. But there's not much you can do about that, so fair enough. Although his dad is a multi-billionaire, so they could just not have JCB on the car. Next, we have Logan Sargent. Oh my goodness, this helmet's gone straight in S tier. I absolutely love it. This is what Haas should have run as a livery for their entire history in F1, starting in 2016, obviously. USA, Stars and Stripes. This is sick. I love this. This is so nice. Not to mention the Duracell branding on the visor, which is just as smart as it is on the car. And there's not too many brand logos on there either, which I think really helps. You've got Acronis, you've got Williams Racing. This is a corker. Well done, Logan. Well done. Uffy Designs? Is that what that says? Better than Yuki's? Ooh, I don't know. We're leaving them up there for now. We might have to change that around in a bit. Right, next, Carlos Sainz. Oh, Vamos. Oh, I do love Carlos's helmet design. I really do. That's also S tier. Oh my God, this is... Can't put everyone in S tier. The black with the red and the yellow is just so sick. There's a few gradients on there, which I'm not so in love with. Actually, you know what? I'm going to move that down to A tier for now. I do really like it. I like it more than Max's helmet. There's a few little fiddly bits that I'm not as pleased with as I am with like Yuki and Logan's helmets. I'd be like, I look at them and like, I wouldn't change anything. Time for gorgeous George Russell, the bright blue that is embraced now since the middle of last season. Actually, check out the podcast I did with MDM Designs, the man behind this helmet, over on the last lap. Link below. He's fully embraced the bright blue with the Monster Energy green as well. Oh man, this is tough because I think You know what? I think I like it more than Max's, but less than Carlos's, I think. I love the colours on it. There are a lot of smaller, intricate details on it, and I don't love those so much. But Miles was actually telling me during the podcast that George takes a really proactive approach to his helmet designs. He kind of knows what he wants, so it makes him a bit of a dream client, really. Which is nice to know that this design is coming from the driver. It's how George wants to be presented. He's not like outsourcing that process to his team, you know? Oscar Piastri. Oscar. Oh, Oscar. I think I'm going to have to take this down here to see, mate. I can't. I want to love it, but I don't. 3 very bright, very bold colours. Got the neon from Lando. Got the bright red. It's like fluoro red. And then you got the bright blue as well. Aussie flag. I don't hate it. I really don't hate it. So maybe C's a bit. You know, I'm going to put it B for now because I think there's some helmets here that I dislike more. It's too garish. It's too loud for me. This is just like, I'm Oscar Piastri. I'm here. Have some of that. Next up is Checo Sergio Perez. In fact, this helmet, Oscar and George, all designed by Miles, MDM Design. And I've got to say, on this one, Miles, I much prefer your work. I'm very happy with this one. There's a lot going on. It's very bright. It's very bold. It's very brash. All of the things I criticised Oscar Piastri's helmet for. But you've got that base white and the grey with the pattern that kind of brings it all together. A lot of personal sponsors as well as Red Bull sponsors to fit onto this lid. It's done a pretty good job. I think I'm going to put this in the bottom of A tier. I think I slightly prefer Max's, but again, A tier is good. No, you know what? Actually, I think I prefer it to Max's. I'm switching these around. Very good. Well done, Checo. Very nice. Esteban Ocon. Ooh, now, this is mean. If the Mercedes was a mean livery, this is a mean looking. This is some Darth Maul looking. Oh, it's very different to anything that's come before, actually. Do I love it? I'm going to go B tier, but I think top of B tier for now. I might have to move some of these down to C because we're starting to run out of space quite quickly here. But yeah, I think B tier for now. It's simple, but it's bold and it's brash and it's a nice way. Like when George had an all black and red helmet at the start of last year, I really didn't like the execution. This I do like. This is nice. Let's go Lando. Right, Lando Noza Norris. Ooh. So it's his standard template, which he's had for a while now. And I'm glad he's kept that because it does build some recognition to his helmet designs and brings it all together. But just the 2 colours, carbon weave. I tell you what, I do really like this. I think this is one of my favourites. And you know what? The McLaren logo on the visor, even with like the little orange and the bell as well, all blacked out on the back. No full colour bell. Oh, I think this is sneaking into S tier. Not better than Logan or Yuki, but it's very good. It's very good. Although I don't expect to see this helmet very often this year because Lando loves to change it up like every race pretty much. Next we have Kevin Magnussen. It looks like an entry-level helmet. It looks like a very standardised template. So I think this is going to be the first introduction to C tier. I like the colour palette, you know, the red, black and white is hard to go wrong. I prefer that colour palette to what we've seen from, say, from Joe and from Oscar. But the composition is just, like it's been designed by AI. I apologise to the designer. It's just not my cup of tea, I'm sorry. But then we move on to Charles Leclerc. Full monegasque, red and white, simple, clean. Whoever decided to put Bit Defender on the side twice, don't let me find you. That is a preposterous decision. However, I guess I'm talking about it, so it's doing the job. This is really nice. But you know what? I'm thinking kind of S tier. In fact, look, 3 of my S tier picks, apart from Logan's, have been very simple base designs. I've clearly got a type. Nico Hülkenberg, the one I was waiting for. Oh dear. This template, right, has had some absolute worldies in the past. When he was at Renault, this in like yellow and black was absolute flames. It's the same base design. It's as if he's been mauled by a zombie because he looks like there's just blood coming out of his head, but also purple blood coming out of his head. I don't understand this. I mean, there's obviously some theory behind this colour palette, but I really don't like it. You know what? The template puts it ahead of K-Mag. But these Haas helmet designs are very sus this year. Sir Lewis Hamilton. Neon. Oh, I'll tell you what, that front angle's really nice actually. But I am disappointed. The lack of purple. I loved the purple. It was distinctive to him, especially before Joe came in. And the fact that he's dropped that for the neon, and I know it fits all in with the car. Do I love it? No, it's definitely not S tier. Oh man, I think I actually prefer Ocons to this. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to put it in this nice little space here, okay? I've missed the purple lids from the 7-time world champion, you know? Fundamentally, it's quite similar, actually, from a distance to Lando's, but Lando's just has that much simpler breakdown, less colours knocking about, and yeah, it's good. It's okay. Pierre Gasly. Ooh, Pierre Gasly. Gold and maroon on a white background, and it's shiny as you like. Now, that front image looks quite cool. Do I like this helmet? No, I do not. I think the gold shine in that front-facing image saves it from being an absolute... It's still a bit of a stinker. Right, Nicholas de Vries... Is it short for Nicholas? Nick de Vries? Because it's N-Y-C-K. Anyway, you know what, right? I saw this pop up on Twitter, this picture of his helmet, the side profile. I think I like it, but I'm still not sure. This is quite a mysterious helmet to me. I actually think there's a home for it somewhere, right? I think we're going to put it... We're going to put it here. We're going to bring Nick de Vries just in here between Esteban and Lewis Hamilton. The orange and the blue, and then the very dark blue and the white, and then the red hearts. It shouldn't work, but something about it, I'll try and be like, oh, really analyze it and deep. But sometimes you just like what you like. Valtteri Bottas. Right. What are we doing with you, Valts? Starting with your black and blue number. This is really nice. I really like it. I love that Valtteri embraces the blue, the Finnish blue. I prefer this to Carlos's. I prefer this to George's. I'm going to move these along, and I'm going to slide Valtteri right at the top of A tier. But this is not all we have from Valtteri, because already he's got a special edition lid for testing. And, I mean... He's pushed the boat out. He's got his mullet now, his Aussie mullet. So he's fully embracing the lifestyle, and he's got his moustache as well. And that's all on the helmet. Now look, obviously creativity is great. Love it. Especially where it says whisper on the side just above his ear. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I kind of like that. Putting that to one side, I guess taking that into an account to an extent, but like aesthetically, do I like it? No, really. It's blonde on beige. I can't say it's my favourite colour palette ever. I'm going to put it ahead of Joe, but behind Lance. Fernando Alonso. Now, this is harking back to the old days, the old Renault days. But instead of the yellow, you've got the bright kind of neon. On that light blue, it's such an iconic helmet. The colour palette isn't quite as strong as it has been in the past, but fundamentally, I still love the design. This is contention strong A tier, actually. I think I'm going to put it ahead of Science, but behind Bottas. There we go. Bosch. Yeah, you can live there. I'm content with that. But then last, but by no means least, the god himself, Alexis Albon. This is a strong lid. This is a strong lid. Deep navy, red accents, white AA on the side. It's got the nice Duracell on it as well. I don't think I can in earnest call this an S tier helmet. However, what I do think I can do is put it at the very top of A tier, because especially the photography Williams done as well. This Albon helmet is a corker, and I'm excited to see it this year. Rest of the field, am I happy? You know what? I got to say, I think I've got to move Piastri down to C tier. Joe, the colour, the purple saves it from a more unfortunate fate. I think we've got to look at S tier now. Which is my favourite? Yuki's helmet is very strong, but Logan's is... I really like Logan's. They're very, very, very different helmets, but I've got a lot of time for both of them. I think I want to. I think I want to put Logan number one, you know. I think I feel American. There we go. Tier list, number 3 of 3. That's my helmet tier list. This is my driver suit tier list, and this is my F1 2023 livery tier list. Let me know all your thoughts and feelings in the comments below. Shout out Squarespace for once again supporting and sponsoring what I do. My name is Tommo. Thanks again. Have a good one. Ta-da.